Howdy, friends and floor heads. Happy Sunday, Mothership Sunday. I have been really looking forward to this. In fact, probably spent more time prepping for this session than I think any session that we have done so far, just because of the directions things have been going and where we left things off. Instead of goofing off, say we get started. So, as always, we start off black. And as the camera fades in, it's sees a teenage boy knocked out, sitting in the shaft of an elevator. Of course, it's Dean. We see some movement. He kind of grabs his head like this and rubs his eyes, and we see him wake up. Then the camera cuts to a couch. And sitting on the couch, we can see Arlo and Watts trying to piece together everything that's happening right now. We pan out a little bit, we get a bigger picture of just this old, decrepit lounge that they've been sitting in. The camera then cuts to Major Farrell. He's in the barracks, going through all of the different chests that are under these beds as he starts to come down from the adrenaline rush of being attacked by this monster. But then the music starts. And we come in on Frankie. And Frankie's standing there. At his feet is one of those foot lockers that he just opened. We see his left hand drop a book that he was holding. And we see in his right hand a picture. And it's a picture of him with his brother, his mother, and his father standing in front of their farmhouse back on Earth. So I guess the first thing I need to know, Frankie, is it has been well over a decade since you've seen them. Maybe weeks since you've looked at this picture. What's your reaction?
I think initially my reaction is joy because it's seeing family. It's seeing something that he knows and loves and remembers. And I would say probably 15 seconds into it, it clicks.
Yeah, and you turned the picture over and you saw on the back the note from your mom that says good luck. And then you turn the picture back over again and you realize that the picture's creased. You can tell the picture's been folded into quarters, which that matches up because you've always kept this picture in your wallet.
Where's my wallet?
It's in your back pocket.
I'm going to reach for my back pocket, my wallet, and see what's going on.
So in there, these days, basically that's only kept for an ID badge you might keep in your wallet, but you've got an old style wallet back when cash was a thing long, long ago. Leather, I'm imagining maybe even your father may have made it for you on the farm. There's a folded up picture inside of it though.
Silence, shock, jaw to the ground.
You pull the picture out, Frankie. You see the note from your mom saying good luck, and you unfold it. So now in your right hand is the picture you found in the footlocker, and in the left hand is the picture you pulled out of your wallet.
I can imagine Frankie shaking at this moment, putting the pieces together, or lack thereof, going, what the hell's going on? Starts shaking a little bit.
We
And
need a sanity save.
oh, I shouldn't have said shaking.
Like he wasn't going to have you do it.
I know. I knew it was coming though.
All right, so we've been using the first edition rules, at least in their current state, and spent some time reading some more. And, you know, just like anything, when you read a rule book several times, you pick up new stuff. So one of the new things that I noticed that I didn't last time we played is that every time you fail any type of save or skill check, you gain a stress. So let's add a stress. Where's that put your stress now, Frankie?
13.
Okay, at 13, I'm also going to force a panic check. I think if there's anything that would cause us to panic, it is you holding the same item in two different hands. So to do that, on your character sheet, I figured it out. You can just click the stress where it says stress, click it, and it'll roll your panic die for you. You need to roll higher than a 12, or you could roll a 1.
Oh, 1 is good though on the panic table.
Yeah.
So
you want to
you laser
That's not death.
focus.
It's not heart attack like the last time.
You're a plus on
Yeah.
all rolls for the next 2d10 minutes. So let's roll 2d10 to see how long you're super focused. So for the next 9 minutes, so for the next 10 minutes, you are hyper focused. So help me out. How does Frankie go from looking at this, failing the sanity save, which means you're not just not able to make sense of any of it, right? But suddenly makes you laser focused. How do we get from A to B?
His ADHD kicked in. You know, he's laser focused. He's firing on all cylinders, and he's actively putting the pieces together, trying to figure out what makes sense, how this can make sense, what movies he's seen that could be plausible here, and he's just going all in.
Camera cuts to Major Farrell.
By the
Major-
way, should I, whenever Marine panics, every nearby player must make a fear save.
Hey, let's make a fear save.
Let's make
Can we
this
put-
interesting.
Can we put DZ's character near me, because he's been screwing us since the beginning? I'd like to.
Luckily he's in the other room.
Mhm.
All right,
Oh,
you,
nice.
you succeed. So Major
Stone
Farrell,
cold.
I think what causes that fear save is you kind of like super focused on pulling open these, you know, these footlockers and stuff, and you hear Frankie drop a book, right? And that startles you because it's really the only like odd noise. And you stand up and you look, and you're looking at Frankie's back, and he's still, almost frozen.
So as I'm searching all the stuff, going really like effectively through the food lockers and everything, just not being nice to the furniture, and I suddenly see Frankie, Mr. Belfoy still, and just, hey, Mr. Belfoy, everything okay over there? And just approach him slowly.
I'm thinking, and I hold up 2 pictures and I show him. I say, I found one of these here, and one was in my wallet.
What do you mean you found one of these here? Like, where exactly did you find it? Or, like, you mean here in this barracks?
And I immediately go back to the box, the locker that I found it in, and start rifling through shit. Like, this is where I found it. It was in this locker. Do I recognize anything else in this locker? Maybe that I would wear a high school T-shirt or something.
No, everything's foreign, right? The books, there's things that you've never read or have never seen or anything. But you do find a leather wallet.
Does it match my bad mother trucker wallet that I have in my back
It does.
Bad mothershipper.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mr. Belfoy, so just, is this the exact same picture that you have in the wallet, and the wallet is like the same duplicate? This doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Why would... What is
Sanity.
this place? Damn it.
Sanity save, Major Farrell.
Yeah. And...
Okay, well,
fail.
we're not gonna do a panic check. We'll go ahead and raise your stress by 1.
Mhm.
What does the sanity save failure mean for Major
So
Pharaoh?
at this moment for Major, it means that the things are not as logical as you would expect them to be, because you shoot something, it dies, you look through stuff, you find ammo, you find whatever you could use, and suddenly there is like this exact replica of personal possessions. It just can't find a logic behind this, and that's what's unsettling for Major.
So the camera's going to cut to Watts and Arlo.
So it's probably not been very long since the gunfire has stopped. Arlo is wide-eyed, nail gun out, pointing at the door, shaking.
I'm gonna slowly reach over and just push the barrel down, like lower it. Perhaps we should check on the other crew members.
Yeah, you first.
Just keep that pointed at the ground, please. Yeah, I'll get up and go into the barracks to see what's taking so long.
So Frankie and Major, you see Watts walk into the barracks. Watts, as you walk in, you see the two of them about 2/3 of the way into the room, several aisles down of cots, right? And you see them both with their back to you, and they're both just kind of just standing there.
Gentlemen, should we continue going deeper into the facility?
Yeah, Mr. Watts, yes, we should resume the mission right away, but just get over here, and maybe your synthetic brain will be able to comprehend this.
You just want me to do a sanity save. All right, I've approached them.
Okay, so look at this. It seems that there is some kind of duplication going over here, but we didn't trigger any device. Or Mr. Belfoy found this in the footlocker. Just can't understand why these items are duplicated.
Frankie hands up 2 pictures with wallets identical in each hand. I look over. I said, "This was in my pocket. This was found in this locker below this bed right here. I have no clue what explains this."
Do I have to make a save immediately, or?
I want to know what the hell Watts is going to do. He's being handed these 2 items, and they're looking to you to explain them.
I have no explanation for this phenomenon.
And Watts, I will tell you that you looking at them and analyzing them in a way that's unemotional, right? The first thing, they look the same, and right down to the creases in the picture, they are the same item.
So they don't look like, one of them doesn't look older than the other. Well, the date tracing looks the same on them, so I doubt that there's any time foolery going on here. But other than that, I can't tell you anything.
Do you know,
You can do hold on 1 second. You can do a sanity save, but I'm going to put you at an advantage.
Well, I'm going to need it because for some reason androids have terrible sanity. Not sure why that is.
Oh, the 22 does it. 78 and a 22. All right.
I see no problem here. We should continue.
So the camera then cuts to Arlo. Arlo, is the gun still pointed to the ground the way that Watts left it?
It's pointing to the ground. Arlo is tiptoeing towards the door. Things are quiet over there. That's uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it's been quiet, right? It's been quiet since the last unsettling thing Watts happened to say to you. And, you start walking towards with this barrack door where all that happened. And that's when you hear a sound coming to your right, and you turn to the right and you see Dean, and he's like, "What? What? Hey, man! Well, like, what's going on? Like, oh God, I don't feel good."
What kind of sound is this? Is this an erratic, loud sound? Because Arlo might turn and shoot, honestly.
No,
point.
no,
It's not
he's
that
just-
type of sound?
No,
Okay.
Is he just is he just sticking his head out of the elevator shaft? Like,
from where Arlo is, he actually is looking into the door of the shaft, right? So there's nothing blocking it, and and every time you looked over there was Dean just, tranquilized. And now Arlo, as soon as you hear the voice, "Hey, man," like you look over and you can just see him like, oh, and his eyes are closed, and man, I don't feel so good. Oh,
Yeah, you look about that much. You and I start rifling through some of my items. Like, I think I got something. Oh, jeez, what happened to you? I forgot you were here. And I get out some pain pills. It's like, and open up the pack. And you want to try some of these? I don't have any water, so you're gonna have to pound them yourself. But
so he gets up on it, like his hands and knees, and he kind of stands up a little bit, and you see him wobble, and he kind of grabs the edge of the door, and he goes, yeah, sure, doc, yeah, and he puts his hand out for the pills.
he thinks I'm a doc.
he's probably the closest of any of us.
So he takes the pills from you, and he downs them, and he goes, where's everybody else?
They're in there, and I point towards the door.
I'm
Things
gonna.
are fine.
Oh, good. I'm gonna go sit. I'm gonna go sit on the couch.
It's a
over
nice
there.
couch.
And so he kind of starts wobbling and staggering his way over there.
You stay there. I'm gonna go check on the guys, and then I head towards the door and swing it open. And the first thing Arlo notices is everyone staring at these two photos. That's a lot of blood. It's a lot of blood.
There is a lot of blood everywhere. and all of it is just, when you get in there, Arlo, and you saw it before, but it's just like, it is now thickened, and it's become not like a coagulated human blood that you would see, right? It's become just like this thick, and it's not even hardened. You can just tell that it's still got like a liquid shine to it.
Hey guys.
Oh, Mr. Waits, we just we got delayed here a little bit while searching this room, but I think we went through the whole barracks, we took all the useful things, and we should return to exploring of this station to see if there's anything useful, if there's anyone alive here. So just, be on your how to say it. Yeah, just, you know how to shoot that gun, right? I presume you still have it in your hands.
Yeah, I've done it before. Once before.
Yeah, so just point it at anything nasty and just press the trigger. That's what probably will be happening here, since we're already in this mess. Okay, let's continue, team, and Major will start heading out of the door and continue the hallway.
Yeah, the camera will cut back to the lounge area. We see the four of you coming through there. The one little detail I give you, Frankie, is they handed you back the pictures in the wallet, and between handing it between everybody, you have no idea which one came out of the locker and which one came out of your pocket. What are we doing with these two objects?
I had every intention of keeping track, which obviously I lost track. So I'm just going to put one set in my front pocket and one set in my back pocket, just to differentiate, so I can figure out what the hell's going on later.
So as you guys come through the door, you see Dean's awake. He's on the couch. He's not only a little yellow because of the lighting, right? Because all we have is this yellow LED emergency lighting in every area that you've been in, but he just doesn't look great. Looks a little hungover, maybe. And if you remember, in this lounge area, you had the elevator shaft, which is how you guys came down here, about 8 stories. You've got the door to the barracks, which you just came back from. And then there was the other door off to now your right. To the if you're sitting on the couch, it would be to your left. Hey, guys, did we find anybody?
Oh, it's Dean. It's a bit rough over here. Just follow us. Follow us. Keep your distance. Be just behind the last person in the group. And
Perhaps Dean should stay here.
yeah,
Hey,
is it-
guys, what happened to my transmitter?
Oh, I took it
Like,
while you were
I-
unconscious.
Are we getting closer?
Yeah.
I'm not staying here then. Like we're almost there.
Maybe you should take a look in this room and decide if you want to continue.
Just don't. Why would you? Damn it! Don't go there, Dean. Just let's continue. It's not safe here to. I agree. It's not safe for you to stay here. Just keep. We should stay together as a group, and we should continue safely, carefully, and just me and Mr. Belfoy will be the spearhead of this group, and we will continue and deal with whatever. I don't even know what's happening. Whatever
Okay.
appears there, but just let's track the signal. Let's see what's happening here.
I'm saying this only to Major, but okay, but I don't have another dose of the sedative to give him if he loses it again.
Yeah, what a shame.
All right, so there's one closed door. It's a double door, windowless and not marked.
Yeah, Major will go ahead and try to open it.
So Major, you get there, you immediately recognize the door is not locked.
I will carefully proceed with my gun in one hand and hitting the button or opening it.
Maybe Dean can be the door opener.
And the door actually swings open, right? So it's actually a hinged door, and I don't imagine you just throwing the door open, especially after what you saw in the barracks. I'm imagining, the Major pulling the door and kind of peek in with your SMG, like you said, handy. You look in, you immediately recognize the yellow lighting continuing into this room. And this room is easily the size of the barracks. So it's another very, very large room. And you only can see a little piece of it. But from what you can tell, there appears to be tables, and not like tables you would sit and dine at, but like standing tables. And you can't quite tell from where you are right now, but there seems to be equipment and stuff on the tables, and you can see maybe a fifth of the room from where you are. And this is with the door just ajar.
So no sudden movements, nothing suspicious that would immediately endanger our group, right?
Not that you can tell.
Okay, so I will continue opening it a little bit more, try to get more hold of the area and what's maybe more even in the corner and in the near vicinity, and then proceed deeper in the looking deeper into the room.
And I
So
think
I'm gonna-
Frankie's also going to be on the other door to get that cross angle there too, so we
Got it.
can see as much as possible.
So I'm going to try to piece together how I think the Major and Frankie would process what you see as you open these doors more. We're going to have Watson, Arlo, and Dean behind you. Can't really see overview, so they're not going to see this at the same time you are. But as Frankie and Major open up the door, like I said, a very large room. You can see immediately a similar set of doors that you're opening on the very far side of it. That could easily be 20, 25 yards away. That's how large this room is. And like I mentioned, there's tables and around the edges, there's tables along the walls. You can see tables set up as in very organized manner and kind of aisles, right? Except in the middle. You can see the tables have been pushed aside. Some have been knocked over. So the chaos of the room goes from everything is tight and orderly towards the middle. It's just chaos. And I think there's two major things that you see. One, you immediately recognize a huge pile of dirt that's probably 6-7 foot tall and just piled in the center of the room. And it is immediately apparent that it's deliberate, that it's almost fabricated. It's in a shape you're familiar with, a shape that you've seen in several places. This cone without a top. You've seen several skeletal remains as you've been going through this building. And here you can see 5 more. You can see 5 skeletal remains with their foreheads buried into the dirt on their knees. Now, in some cases, the skeletal remains are shockingly intact. Some of them have some clothing on them. They look like maybe at some point lab coats. Some of them, though, have fallen to pieces, and the only thing you see is the skull embedded in the side of it. The other feature that you see is an emblem to the far right. Almost like a sculpture, but not but something, a wall feature. And it's worn, it's old. It's hard to say how old it is, but it is of a sword, a star, and a moon, which is the emblem of the church that hired you to transport them to the colonial planet.
Whew.
So right now, that's what Frankie and the Major see. Arlo and Watts and Dean cannot see anything. They're being blocked by the two of you.
All right,
Thank you, Major.
gentlemen.
Should we leave these guys in the other room while we sweep this?
Okay, let's sweep this, but we should share with the group and agree on how to proceed, because this, I was hoping we are over this mess, but once we see that beast in the barracks, I was afraid that this will happen. Okay, let's do a sweep on the edges of the room to see where is the next exit. Is there anything that could pose a danger to us?
So Arlo and Watch, you see Frankie and the Major head in.
After they start their sweep, I'm entering the room.
Okay. And Watts, you take in everything that I described when Frankie and the Major see it. Arlo, are you headed in as well?
Yeah, pretty much right next to Dean. We're taking it slow.
So Dean is real anxious to get in, and but he's still kind of behind you, right? So Arlo, you come in and you see everything that I describe as well. There's 2 things. I think there's a bit of a connection to that shape that you have that nobody else quite has. But the other thing is because of your familiarity, you immediately recognize this as a research room, right? This is where research happens. You immediately recognize the dirt that this sculpture is made of is identical to the dead dirt that you saw within that circumference of this facility, right? So you can immediately tell its consistency and everything is identical. You also recognize as you look around that all types of different research was being done. So you immediately identify areas that are set up to do biological research, right? So you can tell that they're testing blood and things like that, though the equipment is old and destroyed, but you recognize it as not just garbage, right? You recognize different areas. You recognize immediately an area that obviously studies soil. So you can see the pH testing, and you can see containers that still have some dirt that have spilled out of the broken containers themselves. You see that off to your left.
So yeah, that's the first place I go to, while kind of keeping the shape in my peripherals. So I start looking at those jars. Are any of them unopened? Is there any difference in the quality of the dirt between one from another?
So Frankie and Major, you're doing your sweep. Everything is as it appears. Watts is walking through the room. Arlo beelines it for this soil area right off to the left. And as you're going through it, Arlo, you're seeing some of the containers are still sealed. There's other containers that have obviously just broken, whether it be by time or they just fell off shelving or whatnot. And like I mentioned, you can see equipment to test like the pH levels and the mineral compositions and things like that. All the dirt looks the same though. all the dirt looks identical to the sculpture, as well as the dirt that you walked on as you came through here. You do see a notebook, a spiral notebook, kind of covered partially by the dirt itself.
Sure. Yeah, I'd dust off the dirt and I start rifling through the pages.
So Arlo, you're going through the pages and holy shit. Like, this person has been studying this stuff. Like, you see breakdowns, you see coordinates, and I mean, it is so detailed. Whoever's been doing this, it's been meticulous, step by step. You can see they separated the landmass areas where the dirt was collected into coordinates, and you can see the maps of the areas, right, as you go through, and you recognize, hey, this is where we landed, and it's all, even though it's all hand drawn, and you're flipping through it, and it's, I mean, how does that feel like for you just to come across somebody who's just this good?
Yeah, Arlo at this point is just letting out audible, like, wow, whoa, would you look at that? You know, a lot of just, huh.
And Dean goes, what is it? Is it a message? What is it?
I mean, in a way, yeah, there's a bunch of messages over here. I mean, this guy knows his dirt. You come take a look.
And Frankie and Major and Watts, you all hear this.
Mr. Waits, am I hearing correctly? Like, did you all enter this room before we called in clear? Like, we're sweeping the room, like we're fighting some monsters here, and you just waltz in like nothing is happening.
Monsters?
Shut up,
Yeah,
Dean.
Thank you.
I beeline it over to Arlo, hearing about research and different things, because I'm looking for any explanation to what the hell is in my front and or back pocket. I'm unclear at this point. So I'm going to go investigate that area as well.
I started explaining things to Frankie, and this is what he found after the third week.
And
layman's terms, scientist.
Arlo, as you're flipping through, there's a whole section on the plant life and the dissection of the different plant life and the photosynthesis process that some were using versus others, which were using some sort of strange soil biology with the pH and convert. Like, it is just cool as shit. And then you pause for a second. I mean, this is all handwritten. Jesus, is this your handwriting?
Perfect. Yeah. So it takes Arlo longer than he'd like to admit to recognize his own handwriting. And he's just admiring this guy's work for the longest time. This guy really knows his stuff. Oh, this guy really knows his stuff. Frankie, this guy is me. This is my notebook. I left it. It's out in space though. I don't
know, Arlo. You've never seen this notebook.
Oh, okay, perfect.
You've never written these words. You've never seen this notebook.
Okay. So I've thought these things. This plant I've never seen before.
I need a sanity save.
Perfect. Wonderful.
Is Mr. Watts in the room? Is that a fear or sanity that you affect, Mr. Watts?
It's fear. So
okay. So this is just sanity.
Look at that.
All right. Before we continue with the wonderful emotions that Arlo, I do need to understand the inner workings, right? So you look at this, never read this, never looked at this, never studied any of this. This is all stuff from the planet. You recognize the map and everything, Arlo. And then you realize it's your handwriting, but you don't lose your shit. And I want to know why.
Well, first, I haven't actually been introduced to the photographs. I don't.
That's right.
I haven't made that connection yet. Secondly, I'm just admiring the handiwork here. The rest of it being my handwriting, it being things I've never seen, not as important as the discoveries that alternate Arlo has made.
So Frankie, you come up on Arlo, and Arlo says, "This is me."
I grab my front pocket and back pocket. It's like, Arlo, this is what I found in the other room. This is me too. This is my wallet in my back pocket, and this is the wallet I found here. Same picture, same everything. There's not much difference. Are you sure this is your handwriting? Is this your research, your book?
I could have a pen on me, right? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
that's pretty reasonable. Okay, so yeah, I get a pen out and I start writing just nonsense to Frankie in it, and you could tell that it's very easily my handwriting.
Chicken scratch at best.
Right. Yeah, misspellings all over the place.
With my
Is that supposed to be
intellect
an E?
score, with my intellect score, I may not notice, but I'm just gonna nod and go, smart. Okay.
Watch, you hear this.
Oh, I'm staying out of this.
Watts, come over here and date this book. Carbon date it, not
I don't
take it out for dinner.
I don't have my carbon dating kit on me. But I will go over and take a look.
So watch you go over, and it is it's a plastic cover with a metal spiral, like the old school notebooks, right? Which is kind of old school on its own. And the fact that it's all handwriting, well, like I haven't seen handwritten notes in a long time in this day and age. But as you look it over, Watts, to answer the question they asked you, you can't exactly date this thing, but if someone told you that they did and it was 60 years old, you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, like everything else in this facility, it looks to be decades old at the least.
No. I'm not that old, guys.
There are 18 billion people in the universe right now. It's possible that 2 of them have the same handwriting and interests.
Agree to disagree.
So, what's the commotion here? Have you discovered something? Like, okay, seems the room is clear for now. So we have this mess again, like this structure here. So, and I slowly proceed to the table to join the commotion in the middle or in the research area.
I at this point I toss him the book. Check out what I've discovered. Twice.
Great. So you have like PhD in dirt or what? Like how does this help us to continue the mission?
That's my handwriting. I didn't write it. Wow.
What? It's your handwriting and you didn't write it. What that? Oh man.
Did you see these pictures? I point to Frankie's photographs.
Yeah, Frankie showed me, but that must be some. Still have them. I guess we don't get enough fresh air over here, or like our thinking must be clouded or something. We just need to go faster through this, not to get I don't know, poisoned by the air that's down here or something. I don't believe that this wouldn't make any sense. Why would we go here and then discover the stuff that we did? Like, and oh man.
Just as a note, the air down here is stale, but there are no detectable toxins or psychoactives.
Well, sometimes it would help us if you would lie a little bit, at least a little, in this situation.
Noted.
Should I have that book back?
Yeah, read the room. Are there? You mentioned there was maps and different things that might help us with where we're at. Is there any kind of map or diagram of where we're at in this facility?
No, the only maps that you find that Arlo found as you went through this is maps of the surface, right? Where he or somebody, or 18 billion other people, whoever, was very meticulously documenting where this dirt sample was taken, where was this plant taken from, and you know, this dirt sample matched the dirt sample that was coordinate B4, and you know, so on and so forth. And when you looked at the hand drawn map, as Arlo taught you, had you look through the book, you recognized, you know, yeah, here's the facility, this is where we are now, and I can see where we landed, right? I can see that we trekked through that. You can also, getting a better sense of the map, you can realize to the south and to the west of you is a cliffed area, but it's not the edge. If you remember, this thing is almost like like an island, right? But this not the edge of the island, but you can tell that there's a cliffed area off to the right, and then it looks like the focus was on this little plateau swamp area where whoever wrote this book was studying. We've lost track of Dean a little bit, and as soon as anybody realizes that, you immediately see that Dean is about to open the other set of doors. Come on, guys!
Dean, hold up! We didn't check that room. Just stop it immediately. And I just beeline straight to Dean and try to stop him.
And the voice you use, Major, like startles him, and he like the handle is hot. He okay, and he just kind of backs away and he goes, okay, but I just. Like nobody's here. We got to find people. That's why we're here.
Agreed.
Yeah, agree. I think that's the one sensible thing you said today. Okay, let's go ahead, team. We can check this research on our way back. Let's continue.
Should we leave the stack of dirt the way it is right now?
Is
Feels
the
like
dirt?
something-
I would like to take a closer look at that before we leave.
I mean, like, do you want to put your head in it or what? Like, you know what happens with these
No, I want to
things.
destroy it. That's what I want to do. I want to kick it down.
Like last time we used a grenade, and I'm not sure if that helped anything. But okay,
Is this dirt, like, has it been assembled by people, or did it just kind of erupt out of the ground?
Dirt was brought into this room, so doesn't
Okay.
seem to be any disruption to the ground, so it didn't like emerge in the middle of the room.
Okay.
It looks like it was formed here.
How did they, like, is it a wireframe, like, or is it a solid mound that just happens to be that shape?
All you can see is that it's a dirt mound. The dirt is
Okay.
very dry and dusty, and the skeletal heads are embedded into the dirt.
I'm gonna pull one of the skulls.
What's keeping them there, you don't know.
With this, one of the skulls that's just like a skull in the dirt, I'm gonna grab one of those and pull it out.
You can't.
Then I'm gonna, like, scoop the dirt around from the head and see what it's stuck on.
So as you start kind of pushing the dirt away, and it goes away easily, just any level of effort, and the dirt just is falling away as you go.
Yeah.
And maybe 6 inches in, you realize that there's some sort of rock in the middle of this thing, and this skull is fused to that rock.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep pushing dirt away, revealing as much as I can about what's underneath.
So we have our android like attacking this mound of dirt.
No, very calmly.
Well, right. What I need to know what the other 3 of you are doing as he's over there doing that.
Arlo's right next to him, like, but also kind of looking around for gloves. Like, should he be doing this?
I mean, are you
But
sure? Do you know what these things were doing to people? Oh, then he
Do
realizes.
would you like an answer to what's going on here? I
I would like
suggest
to-
the synthetic being be the one to do this over
He's
a
got a
biological one.
That makes sense. Okay, Mr. Billfoy, let's sweep the next room then. We'll
Sure.
just-
Well,
Yeah.
you guys kind of step back a little bit, right? And you're watching Watts as he's just clearing away the dirt. And Watts, as that's happening, all 5 of these skulls are fused to this rock. And you realize the rock itself that's in the center of this thing is you're slowly starting to pull it away. This thing is huge, right? It's like 6 foot tall. The rock is not the same shape, right? So obviously this large boulder was brought in here. You can tell that it could have fit through the double doors that you guys came through. How it came down the elevator, tough to say. And this was just built around it, right? This was built around it. And the way that the dirt was on the skulls, as you piece that away, you could tell that this was built before the skulls drove their heads into this thing, right?
Okay.
That you can all tell. all 4 of you, 5 of you, have taken in a ton of information as you've entered this room, between the lab, the soil lab that Arlo found, and then what he found in the book, and sharing that with you. What Watts is discovering is he's finding these skulls fused to this boulder in the center of this room. I don't know if this is what happens, but as Watts is doing that, I feel like all 3 of you kind of remember the emblem on the wall, which everybody recognizes.
Oh, even Frankie?
No, Frankie does not recognize it. Well said. Well said. But yeah, this is the same symbol that was on the side of the cargo ship that you guys attached to jump to, and it is the insignia of the modern oracles of piety.
MOOP, that's what it was. I knew they had a dumb acronym.
MOP.
Oracles of MOOP or MOP.
I like MOOP, actually.
Okay, why would this be? Well, is why even a question here? So obviously this is connected to our mission, to the ship that is stranded in the space above us.
Well, do recall that we are way off course of where they had asked us to take them. So they may have intended us to show up here, but that is not what the actual contract was for.
How
Yeah,
big is their cult?
What was that, Arlo?
He's just spacing out. How big was their cult? Thinking they're, galaxy wide or something.
Cult.
Yeah, and to answer that question, and because you all know this cult, this religion, I should call it, this religion is probably the most prominent religion in the kind of the known galaxy, which really is the moons of Jupiter, Mars, and Earth are probably the only thing that's really been colonized within our solar system. And they're very active in all of those locations, and have prophesized, and there's people that you have worked with in the past that are moops. But the biggest thing about them is just how wealthy they are. It was founded maybe about 150, 200 years ago by a guy who calls himself Mordecai. And he, basically said all the religions are true and they're all the same. And we all worship one God. And now that we can jump from star to star, we'll find him. And that's kind of the premise of the modern order.
Okay. I also thought it was a smaller sect, perhaps, not cult. So if it's a larger order, then it's a little less dubious that it would show up in 2 places. Although if it was founded 150 to 200 years ago, and that's also the age of the facility, then this temple or whatever room would be on the fresh side of when it was formed.
Do we have any connection from public knowledge about this religion to these pyramids, or I don't know how to call them, to these structures?
No.
It's the first time. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems strange that this would not be our target of the mission, but still we stopped here and the symbol appeared. So obviously there is some connection. Not sure if that was the intention of the trip we took. And to be honest, I'm not sure what to take out of it. What can this mean? We need to find somebody who would be alive here, which I doubt, or we need to find some terminal, or to join to connect to the terminal, to get the notes from it, get some journal to understand why are these anomalies happening here, and what's
We
the
need somebody
connection
with
of
skill
this
points
image.
in xenoesotericism.
I'm on it.
So Arlo's Major is kind of making this soliloquy to you and to himself. He says terminal, and that's when it kind of clicks a little bit. You were so distracted by the dirt and stuff, you realize that under kind of the pile of crud that you saw all over, there was a terminal there.
Okay, so I point that out. and I kind of is Watts still digging deep, or has that been okay? So you're still a little
Uh,
distracted.
I'm digging until I see the shape of this thing. If I've uncovered the shape, then I can look at the terminal when I'm done.
Okay,
Or you can
so
take a crack at it.
yeah,
Yeah,
in
we're-
spacer in standard Space Cadet Arlo, he just starts drifting towards the terminal as soon as terminal gets mentioned. He looks over at Watts and sees that he's distracted. Arlo will take care of it.
So Arlo, you go back over there and you kind of push aside some equipment and stuff, and you see this terminal, and it's powered off as you would expect, right? Thanks for the sub, Nick. But there's a printout, and
Quaint.
you tear the printout, and it tears easily, and the paper is almost falling apart in your hands, and you look at it, and it says, it's a message from Archon facility to Mordecai. We found him. Send tribute.
Does
The
it say
date?
tribute?
The date on it is about 120 years ago. And you can see it's being sent, or was, based on the printout, sent in 30-minute intervals.
Is that the source of this beacon?
So Arlo is just staring at this, kind of dumbfounded. He turns to Major. Can you make any sense of this? Who is this Mordecai guy? Despite the religion being gigantic, he's not super connected to it.
But
Major,
it's common
you know
knowledge.
the name. Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mordecai is the leader of this religion, if I could say it like that. Major goes briefly through the message, just scans it over, just reads it once or twice, and like, why would be Archon connected to the religion? This is most strange. And what they mean by "we found him"? This just, I was hoping for some answers, but this just brings in more and more questions to what's happening here. They need to send tribute, and last time I heard about tribute, it was not very fun experience, I must say. Oh, is there anything else? And nods towards Arlo.
Yeah, Arlo is, the terminal's dead as far as you can tell.
Yeah, I'm hitting the power button right in front of him.
Hold it down.
Thanks,
For
thanks,
10
Watts.
seconds.
Nope, nothing.
Watts, you've cleared off maybe about 20% of this. You've gotten to the heart of it. You got a sense of the shape of it.
Is it God?
I don't know.
That's what it sounds like. Is it like the part that I've uncovered? Is it flat? Does it have edges?
No, it's
Has
just
has it been-
you can tell it's just a natural boulder, right? Just a natural
boulder.
rock that you would have, you came across and saw as you were working through the swamp on the way to this facility.
All right, Arlo.
It came
Dirt's
from,
more
as
your
best as
thing.
you can tell, it came from the surface.
Arlo, do you want to take a turn with the dirt since you love dirt so much, and maybe I can look at the terminal and get it powered up?
As much as I love dirt, I'm not touching that stuff at all.
You can
I
use
like
your-
my forehead exactly where it is.
Use
Thank
your
you very
notebook
much.
to shovel it off. Well, I'm going to take a break because I'd like to see if there's anything I can get from the terminal, and I have a battery that I powered up the terminal at the entrance with that I'd like to try to connect to it to see if I can get it.
Does anybody hand Watts the printout?
At this point, it's out of Arlo's hands. So
If I saw that they were looking at that, I'll take a look at it.
And you look at it, and you can tell, Watts, by looking at it, this is the kind of printout that would come from just a programmed message sent over and over again. Knowing, deep space communications, the only way this would have been sent anywhere is if there was a very large comms station somewhere, either as part of this facility or somewhere else, because it would be, we're talking about interstellar communications here, and It would take a tremendous amount of equipment and energy in order to be able to send this anywhere. You hook your battery up to the terminal, and the problem with the terminal is not a battery issue. It's not a power issue. This terminal is dead.
Okay, so it hasn't been sending this message.
No.
Well, this message hasn't been sent since this terminal was active, so it is not the source of the beacon. I can tell you that much. Is there a panel on the bottom I can pull open to see if there's like a wire is just loose?
So you pull the panel out, and you see a few things. You see someone or something has taken whatever wiring was in there and has ripped it out. So you see wires broken and dangling from the top, and you can see where potentially they connected at some point to the bottom. So you just imagine somebody just going in and just ripping stuff out of the panel, but then put the panel back, which is interesting. You also see at the very, very bottom of it a plastic bag.
Ooh. Yeah, well, this terminal was sabotaged intentionally, which I'm beginning to agree with whoever did that. But there's also this, and I pull the bag out and start.
And it's a plastic bag. It's not clear. It's opaque. It's kind of a grayish white, and it has evidence written on it. Like printed, not handwritten.
Well, I'm opening it and taking a look.
So you open it, and there's, I don't know, maybe like 40, 50 strands of hair. Each of the strands of hair is roughly about 5 or 6 inches long, varying lengths. All of them are gray.
Gross. Are they like clumps, or are they individual strands?
They're all individual strands and loose.
Okay. That's all that's in the bag?
They're brittle, though. As you pick them up, they just...
I'm not touching them.
Oh, okay.
I'll dig the dirt off of the killer statue, and I'm not shoving my hand in a bag of hair.
What's going on, guys? What are we doing here? We've got a lot going on.
Okay, so let's discuss our objectives. We need to find the terminal to get more information about this him they found, this messiah or whatever that means, and we need to get to the source of this signal. So I suggest that we proceed deeper into the station, into this facility, and try to find some working terminal or anything, any more clues that we could put together.
I'll remain here and continue unearthing the statue while you clear the next room.
I mean, be my guest, but I don't think this dirt thing will get us any deeper in.
Well, you don't want me to come into the room while you clear it anyway, so I might as well.
Yeah, sure. Let's go ahead then. Mr. Belfoy, let's go sweep the next room.
I look at Watts real quick, and I hold up the remote transmitter and wires that we pulled out of that transmitter electronics room on the other moon, and ask, will this help try to power up that terminal to repair it?
It's not a power issue, and while the wires might actually be able to reconnect it, I'm not convinced that that's a good idea. But save those, because we might find a terminal that we might actually want to power up.
He looks down, so I don't care, puts it back in his bag, starts walking away.
Here, Arlo. And I give him the bag of hair.
Arlo stops himself from saying that this is a hairy situation.
And fade to black.
That doesn't count as not making the pun.
What do I do with this bag of hair? What
tests? Biological tests?
I put the bag on the nearby table. Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Major and I are going to start meandering over to the other double doors at the end of the hallway.
Let me know if you find a Journal of Grudges.
So you guys, Frankie and Major, work their way over across the room, going around this mound of dirt in the middle. Dean is there frozen. His hands are still up. So apparently the Major just scared the ever-living shit out of him. You get to the door. It's identical. It's the same type of door as that you came in with, right? These double doors that are hinged. Before you go to open it, though, Major, before you put your hand on the handle, you look down, and unlike pretty much every portal you've gone through, you can tell that there's not light on the other side, right? So you look down, you anticipate to see the same type of yellow light peeking out from under this door. You can tell that there is no light peeking out from under the door. And as you kind of like angle your head to look to where the door, the two double doors touch, you can tell that it is pitch dark on the other side of whatever this is.
Okay. Infrared goggles, do they help? I just put them on and try to find anything that I could catch on in that pitch black.
Yeah, without opening the door, you don't see anything.
Okay, so Mr. Belfoy, I will open the door. We don't know what's behind it. Just be double careful. If there's anything suspicious, like the guy we dealt with before, just don't ask any questions this time. And I will start slowly opening the door, carefully checking the situation.
Okay. So you start to open the door. You wearing the goggles can see this. Frankie doesn't see anything. It's just pitch darkness. It's a much smaller room. In fact, it looks like a little bit like not a lobby, but like a waiting area, a staging area. And you can see, identical to where you were at the surface, you see another set of elevator doors. And as you're opening the door more and more, looking around, there's some debris. You see some signs of the dirt, right? That was from the lab that's obviously been spread around here, whether it blew in here or not. It's hard to tell. You kind of push the door open more. And from where you are, things look clear. But I still have you not in this little elevator area.
Okay. For now, it seems clear. I will take a step in. I will proceed. I will do one step, look around, second step, and really carefully approaching the situation.
Frankie, what are you doing while the Major's doing this?
I can't see shit, so I'm just waiting for direction, standing behind him and covering his back.
So, Major, you step in. Frankie, you don't know what it is, but it falls from the ceiling. I need a speed test from the Major.
Fucking hell.
But you know what? Let's do it after the break. Let's break for 10 minutes. We'll be right back. See you in 10 minutes. All right, welcome back. I am troubleshooting something real quick in Foundry, so give me just 1 second. All right, it'll bring us
There
back
we
here in
go.
just a second. Let me know when you guys are back in.
Yeah, it's
There we go.
reconnecting now.
Should be relatively quick. Are you guys back? I see Nick. I see Vaslav.
I was signed out of Forge, so I have to go.
Oh, sorry. All right, I'll let you guys go in and... Oh, what happened to Vaslav? Oh, there he is. Vaslav, we
Really
need a
nuts.
speed check, my friend.
Yeah.
Now, this would be at a disadvantage, except you wore the goggles.
And where's the character? Okay, I got scared.
Okay. Now, Frank, the only one I'm going to have do a speed check is Frankie. So, Frank, I need a speed check. Yours will be at a disadvantage, though.
And
Would
plus
that
stress 5,
disadvantage?
I failed.
One stress for the major. Yep.
Would that be countered by my positives that I got for panicking in a good way?
Oh, yeah, we're still within that time, so that'll take care of that. So, yeah, you'll be at an even roll. Well done,
Nice.
All right.
Mr.
sorry.
Focused.
Laser
Right.
focus.
I know it's the ADHD. What am I doing again? Stress?
Speed.
No, speed. Speed.
Stress later.
Cat like speed and reflexes. Just kidding.
All right. So this thing gets to go first. So, Major, you step into this room. We saw what Frankie saw was just the shadow fall from the ceiling to land on top of you. You don't see it. You just feel a weight fall on top of you, and you hear a sound, and it's going to try to bite you.
And how? What do I feel? Do I feel like a gooey thingy, or is it like a person? Humanoid thingy?
It's solid. It's not gooey, and it's heavy. Maybe 150 pounds.
Okay. Okay.
All right. So you hear this, and you hear a crunch as you move your head just in time, and you just see this mouth just clamp and crush. Frankie, now that the doors have kind of flung open as this is all happening, some light from this room is starting to come in from here. And what you see, it probably was a person. But as far as you can tell, this person is on its back, but yet its feet and its hands are grappled around the major and landing on the major as if its back is touching the major and it's like reached around its back. And you see a woman's face looking up at the ceiling. You see her black hair and her head is split from behind as you saw this, the teeth from the back of her head clamp onto it. And the one thing as you try to piece this all together is one, you can see its rib cage is exposed and pointed straight out, almost like there's spines on its belly, but now it's this thing's back, maybe, I don't know. And it's wearing a very distinct kind of light maroon robe that you immediately recognize as ceremonial robes for the modern order.
Also, no more Silent Hill for Craig.
All right. So both Frankie and Major get to go. You guys get to go in whatever order you want.
I think it makes sense that Frankie goes. Major would be still shell-shocked, basically.
And just so you know, Major, you're on the floor now. You're basically on your hands and knees right now. This thing is on your back. It just clamped next to your head. Frankie, you saw this thing fall and just took in the information of what the hell this thing is.
Yeah, I don't think he has time to think. I think he just straight goes and starts pulling the trigger on
All
his
right.
SMG.
And you're still laser focused. So does that give you a positive?
Yeah, focus
think
for that
so.
friendly fire.
All right. Let's do that advantage. Let's do a combat check at advantage.
With the skills being either military training or close quarters, would any of those work here?
Nope.
Okay.
Military training would, yeah.
Military training, yeah.
Yeah. So hit the gun, and what does the military training give you? +10 or +5?
+10.
Okay, so we'll just add 10 to your target.
He is near another Marine too.
Nope, so +15.
I think that's built into the SMG
All right.
or into the combat. Let's see how it rolls.
What if you have
Or
it
how
in
it-
the bonus? Huh.
All right, that was at advantage. So you rolled a 16 and a 26. In both cases, you hit with a target of 58. What is your combat out of curiosity? Let's figure out what it added.
It's 48, and then I
48.
have a +5 and another for just being a military guy, and another +5 because I'm near a Marine. So
Okay.
+10 for that, and then
Perfect.
another 10 on top of that for the close or military training.
Got it. So you light up. This thing goes. I'm going to have it take 9 damage. So give me just 1 second. There we go. You just open up the gun, and now, Major, you've got the weight of this thing on your back. You hear Frankie's gun going off. You know exactly what's happening from the direction it's coming from, and you can hear as these bullets are hitting into this thing. And Frankie, from where you are, you're starting to see that you are hitting this thing as you're unloading the gun. You're seeing this black molasses blood just spouting from the sides of this thing as it's going. It is not falling off. It is still on the Major. Major, go ahead and go. What are you going to do?
So as the bursts of fire are like the bullets are flying above me, I'm even closer to the ground than I was before, and I try to find an angle where I could point my gun and shoot the bastard.
You're not going to be able to. The way this thing is on top of you, that SMG, I just don't see any way from where you are right now of being able to angle the gun.
Okay, then I will try to wrestle him. I guess.
Okay, that'll be a straight combat check.
With the military training as well.
And the +5 for the Marine. For Frankie.
Oh yeah,
being there.
I have the bonuses there as Frankie. So combat. Yeah, let's roll.
Very, very nice. All right, so how do you wrestle this thing off of you?
So I use the momentum of the bullets hitting the monster, so it might lean a little bit to one side away from the shooting direction, and I will try to just push it more, so it just basically flops on the side, on its back maybe. Like I push it to the side and it flops on its back.
Yeah, so you pull this thing off, and it comes off of you, and it falls on its back, but it's actually this thing's belly, right? But it's kind of its back, so it falls, and you can tell that it's reversed, that somehow the arms are backwards, the legs are backwards, the way that the spine is arched, you can tell what is its back based off of where the head is that opened versus the face. Like it's all kind of messed up. So you wrestle it off of you, Major. I now need sanity. Let's do fear checks. I need a fear check from Frankie and a fear check from the Major.
Is Watts close enough?
No.
I'm in the other room.
Yeah, like that method.
Okay, 1 stress for the Major. 1 stress for Frankie.
I'm on 6.
I'm on an advantage though. Did that pass on the advantage?
Yeah.
Oh, it sure did. So no stress for you, Frankie. Military training, super focused. Both of you, or you have no trouble, Frankie. Major, this is just too much. This is all happening. I do need a panic roll from both of you. Let's start with Frankie's panic roll. So just click on the word stress on your character sheet. Where's your stress now? 13 or 14?
13.
At 13. All right. Gain a new condition. Nightmares. Sleep is difficult. Gain a minus to all comfort saves. So go ahead and take nightmares and drag it onto your character sheet.
It was worth
Makes
it to add
sense.
all those conditions in the forge after all.
All right, Major. Let me get your
Let's
panic.
see. Yeah.
Oh, positives.
Ooh. Focus.
All right. Frankie, we don't need to go through your panic, right? It's just obviously this is going to affect you later. This is an image that's burned into your brain as it's happening, as you're firing the gun, as this beast is falling down on top. And for the next 10 minutes, Major, how are you laser focused?
So it just basically the adrenaline kicked in. I was ready to fight, but I was a little bit in comfort zone. And suddenly, as the beast fell on me, I heard the gun shooting from Frankie. I pushed it aside. Maybe I started crawling there, and I knew that this is fight for life. I need to just go through this and kill whatever jumped me. So it's this adrenaline surge that's helping me.
So, and I think part of it is the laser focus, Major, is as this body gets ripped off of your back and you pull them off in your back and it's sliding into the far wall where against these elevator doors, and you're looking at this thing for the first time, and like this light maroon robes with this backward arched and this head opening in the back of the head of whatever this was before. You hear a faint whisper almost inside your head, and it sounds like 7, 8 voices at once, all going, welcome, welcome, welcome. And you can see little mouths on its arms and on the woman's face, and they're all just welcome, welcome. I need speed checks from Watts and Arlo. We're at the top of the new round. The beast goes first unless Watts or Arlo can beat it. Okay, both Arlo and Watts, I needed a stress added. The beast is going to go from you. From where it is, it's not going to be able to bite you, Major, but it's going to attempt to claw at you. So it flips back up onto its back belly or whatever the hell it is, and you just in these tendril-like claws just come swiping at the Major. Right by your face, you just, this thing goes, you feel the wind of the claws as it comes by your face as you pull back again. I'm going to have you up on your knees now. The gun is in your hand. Everybody gets to go. Who wants to go first? It's all 4 of you.
The Major can go, since I think it would be convenient to react to the slash. So from the knees, start unleashing the bursts from...
Actually, real quick, I had both a Major panic and Frankie panic. What happens when a Marine panics?
Friendly player must make a fear save.
Okay, so I need a fear save from Watts, Arlo, and then both from the Major and Frankie need a fear save as well because you're around each other.
I mean, if I wasn't in range to give them a disadvantage to fear, I would
You hear
argue.
the gunshots, you hear the screams. I need fear saves from all 4 of you.
This is Pandemic, the board game, all over again.
I wasn't going to argue the distance thing. Things are happening. Arlo's terrified.
All right. Arlo adds a stress. Major adds a stress.
Uh-huh.
Now all 4 of you go.
So Major tries to shoot him with the SMG.
Let's do it.
So I forgot how to... Okay, I press the SMG and just... Does it put in the military training? Huh. And the bonuses? Let's see what it does.
Yep. Okay, it has your target at 55. You succeed either way. 6 damage. You light up on this thing. You continue to hit it. It's reacting to the bullets as it's going, but it's not losing ground. So even though its body is pulling back as your bullets are going into its body, where its hands and feet are not moving. So it's keeping its ground.
All right.
Who's
I
next?
think I'll go next, following up with that same round of fire. Let's make it happen, Captain.
All right.
My target 58 should be 68. Still doesn't pass. So.
Still doesn't pass. So we're going to add 1 stress. Watson, Arlo. Arlo, what were you doing when this all broke out?
Kind of staring at that religious symbol, hoping that we don't run into anybody. And as it turns out, we did. So,
Well,
yeah,
You don't have to
I-
go
th-
before Watts, but I knew what Watts was doing. I just wasn't sure what he was doing. So between Watts and Arlo, who's going to go? Dean is in a ball on the ground, covering his ears.
so yeah, gunfire, sludge sounds, screaming. Arlo turns, nail gun in hand, says, "I can do this. I can do this. I can do this."
So,
And he
right-
fires from a distance.
Right now, Frankie's blocking your way.
Okay, Arlo does not fire.
So but-
Those things still happen in his head, and then he's like, I can't really skirt around him. So I'm tiptoeing forward at that point. Then
all right, Arlo, you're slowly moving forward. I need a fear save from you once you finally see what this thing is. As the yellow light from the room, the research room, floods out and lights this thing.
course. Of course.
Okay,
you
let's
do.
go. Add a stress and give me a panic check.
Panic. That's by clicking stress,
All
right?
you have to do is
Yes.
click
Yeah.
stress. Yep, it'll roll a d20 for you.
Target 8.
Oh, for some reason though, it didn't give him the result. Oh no, the target's 8. Or no,
Yeah.
that's still a failure.
Hmm.
All right, so let's see what 8 is on the stress table. Give me just 1 second.
Oh, I just had it.
All right, loss of confidence. You gain a new condition. Choose one of your skills and lose that skill's bonus. So move loss of confidence to your character sheet. You don't have to do it now, but what skill do you want to lose?
So right now I've really only got 2 skills, biology and art. Yeah, they're useful. Come on. I guess I'll lose art for right now.
Okay, so you lose art. So let's go backwards for just
Art
a
is
second.
meaningless
Rewind.
in the face of this thing.
So Arlo, you hear the ruckus. You pull up your nail gun, fully ready to finally be like a combat machine. You realize that Frankie is blocking your way, so you move like with an impetus that maybe you didn't even know you're capable of, and finally get around. You see what this thing is, and how does it make you lose confidence?
Just the way it looks is enough for me. I was feeling really good. I was mimicking the movements of my 2 buddies, and then nope, classic Arlo, just fumbling after seeing this horrible thing in front of me.
Watts, what are we doing?
So are Frankie and Hezekiah, are they backs to us right now, and then the creature is facing this way?
So from where you are, all you can see is Arlo's back and Frankie's back.
Yeah, I'm gonna move up so that I can see
Yeah,
the
you
room.
can't see the major. You can't see it. Once you kind of work your way around, it's a huge double doors that have been flung open now. You can see this beast. You can see it attacking and swiping at the major. The major's on his knees, kind of pulling himself away from being attacked by this thing.
Are there backs to me though?
Yes.
Okay. We said before in the cannibal colony that I had a powerful flashlight. I'd like to take that out and try to blind it.
Let's do a combat check. Just a straight combat check.
Let's totally do a combat check. I'm good at those. No.
Okay. 1 stress. I think you turn the flashlight on, but why are you unable to blind this thing? Why are you unable to get to the beam on his face? Or its face?
Either it's probably just a combination of Frankie and Hezekiah blocking the light itself. I can't like get it into its eyes.
So from where everybody is, suddenly from behind you, like a spotlight turns on and it's shining all over the place and just moving, and you can't tell what's trying to happen there. We go back to the top of the round. This thing is going to take another swipe at you again, Major. This time it's going to do the claw again.
Oh.
Okay, so now you roll a combat check, and you need to roll succeed and roll lower than it.
So I roll combat, not safe for body.
Correct. Yeah, it's a
And
combat versus combat.
So I add again the military training.
Yep.
And positive for advantage because you're right.
Oh,
Laser,
right.
Oh, you're focused,
You're
right?
focused.
I'm laser.
So it'll be at advantage.
Okay, so I have all the flips that the game allows. Okay. Whew.
Oh, one of them beats at 25. So this thing swipes at you. You're on your knees, Pharaoh, as this comes at you. The first time you were able to just lean back to get away from the claw. This second claw is going to hit you, but it doesn't. And why is that?
The second doesn't hit me because it just hits the edge maybe of the wall or of the door or something, and it just like the claws or whatever it has on its hand just stops like a centimeters away from my head, but doesn't go further, and he needs to like pull it back.
I love it. I love this idea that the doors opened into this room, and where it fell, you guys were basically keeping the doors open with your bodies. As you flipped this thing off and stood up, your left knee is holding the left door ajar. That's how what people are able to see into it. And this thing claws at you, and it hits that door that you're holding with it, and we just see wood just shatter as it goes through, but it stops it from hitting you. All four, any of you can go.
Yeah, let's blast it. Let's not delay.
All right, the Major's going to
Blast
go.
it. Yeah. And SMG and advantage. I forgot. Focused.
I don't think it's going to beat a 6.
Close.
All right, you're going to hit it for 10 damage. You open up on it again, on your knees, just. And this time it does affect it. This time it slams it into the far wall, and you can now see it start to grab different things like the edging on the door, and it's starting to move its way up the wall. Who's next?
Ooh.
Yeah, I immediately see what's happening, and I'm gonna repeat exactly what Major did.
Okay, and you're not at a you're at an advantage at this point still.
Yeah.
All right, so you got a 29. Let's see if it can avoid it. So this thing starts to crawl up the wall, Frankie. You're going, you're shooting where it was, not where it's headed. So it's barely able to stay ahead of your bullets. It's just starting to move up the wall as it's crawling up the wall. Arlo and Watts. Flashlights flying all over the place. Arlo is frozen in his footsteps with his nail gun. Who's going?
Yeah, Arlo releases. He sees what happens when he pulls the trigger of this nail gun.
Okay, so he squeezes the trigger. And you hear different sound, right? It's from Frankie's gun and from the Major's gun. It's just echoing throughout the hall. The only person who hears the Arlo's gun is Arlo, and it's kind of a and we just see the nails not even close, like they're far to the right as the nails get nailed into the elevator door. Watts?
Yeah,
By
I
the way,
guess I'll
is that a
switch.
stress, the combat? Or if you
Yep.
succeed and they dodge, it's okay.
So if only if your roll fails, you add a stress.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm bound to hit with the rigging gun one of these days. So I'll
So
take
you-
that out.
you
and
do.
give it a
You
shot.
pull out your harpoon gun.
I took it.
I know.
Might as well give it, like, honestly.
Ah,
Not this time, though.
And it goes launching, and like Robin Hood, hits right where the nails were hitting on Arlo. So now, Arlo, to your right, you now have this rope that's going from the end of Watts's gun, taut past your ear, and you see just the spear just go right into the door.
If,
Now-
if Arlo had a book of grudges, he'd be writing something down right now.
I'm not
Major,
that
this-
bad.
This thing launches itself off the wall, turns its head towards you, and is trying to bite you.
And get stuck on the wire.
As it comes up, I'm actually, Major, I'm going to have you with the butt of your gun just come up at the same time so that it ends up landing on the butt of the gun as it was going for you and falls back onto its back belly, whatever. So it's now exposed down on the ground. All four of you can go.
Oh, as an immediate follow-up, I see I have last magazine reloaded, so I will use that to shoot into its exposed belly or back or whatever. I don't know.
It's center of mass.
Exactly. It's still with focus or advantage.
All right, 14. Very nice.
Oof, wow, that advantage.
And 14 damage. Roll me a d10, please.
Wounded it.
All right, so at an 8 with a gunshot, sucking chest wound. So you open up into this thing, Major, and it's you now see that you're like actually penetrating through it's just all kinds of goo and stuff is coming from its center of mass. Roll me another 1d10. Let's see how quickly it dies.
Yeah, you need me to roll something? Or...
Yep, 1d10. Yep, it's a lethal
That's
injury. It's a lethal injury. It's fatal in 1d10 rounds.
Oh, another. Okay.
All right, in 3 rounds, it's dead. So the molasses is going, and you just hear this unearthly, and the mouth opens up wider than it's opened before, and you realize that the entire head is only held together at the very, very back as this thing opens up. Who's next?
Hey, Craig, quick question. It looks like I started this today's session with only 3 shots out of 5 loaded.
What did you have for ammunition?
10. So I
Okay,
must
so-
have missed a reload at the end
That's
of
fine.
last. Okay. So I'll have to reload in 2. I'll keep that mental note.
Yep.
But
No,
I'm gonna
just go. Just go.
Okay, I'm gonna advance on this thing and get right on top of it and just start unloading.
And you're still at advantage from your laser focus.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, yeah.
41, and I misspelled can when I typed it in.
I noticed that.
Huh. Look at that.
So you get on top of this thing, Frankie, and you start opening up, and for whatever reason, it's going into its chest, but in no way is it's damaging it, and you realize that you're hitting the floor in this big, huge hole in its chest. That's Frankie. That's Major. I've got Watson Arlo.
Like Tara.
Is Frankie now in between?
No, you got clear sight, Arlo. You want to take a shot?
Yeah, let's go for it. It's been working out so far. All right.
Luckily, it's not a crit. So another stress. The nails are flying, and you see the nails, Frankie, as you're on top of this thing, opening up into its chest. You hear the, and you look, and you just see nails hitting the wall on either side of your head.
I'm
Watts.
helping.
Watch, you have the gun, the rigging gun, and the line is taut between the gun and it's stuck in the wall.
Yeah, I dropped the gun for now.
Okay.
I'm gonna go hit the elevator button.
You see Watts run past Arlo. No trouble. He pushes the right side door. So Farrell has been keeping the left side open. He pushes the right side door open and just lunges like slow motion Matrix style to hit the button of the elevator. We're back up at the top. This thing is doing nothing. And you can see it twitching. And it's dead.
Oh. I carefully reload my gun before approaching. And I get closer and try to see what's left there, even though there is a darkness, but I have that it's not night vision. It's just thermal vision, right? Infrared. Okay, infrared goggles. I try to see and confirm that it is really dead and see what's left there. If I can get any more clues beside the rope,
Yeah,
creature head.
it's definitely dead, Major. And the crazy thing is the way that this head opens up into this maw, right? You can tell that, like when you saw that security guard in the bunker, that somehow whatever this is able to split open and make a mouth out of the head. But unlike before, on the front, it's the back of this woman's head. And it's just there lifeless.
Just
Perhaps we should burn it.
do we have time for burning it? Who knows how many of these we will encounter later. So what about the elevator arrives or the door opens to the elevator? What happens there?
Yeah.
You hear click, 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 click,
I
as
doubt
Watts
it has
keeps hitting the
power,
button.
Oh no, I only hit it once. I'm not a madman. I do go pick up my rigging gun and reel the harpoon back in though.
Okay.
Good job, everyone.
I go back and check up on Dean. What's happening to him?
He's in a ball on the ground, not making a sound.
I get closer to him. I go on my squat and get closer to him. And Dean, it's over. We disposed of it. You're safe now.
Relatively.
Is he responding to anything or just curled up?
He's responding.
Oh God.
So he takes a swing at you, Major, but you have absolutely no difficulty avoiding it. So he just wildly swings up at you. He says, "Get away from me!"
I try as he's swinging. Maybe I block 1, 2. I get like 2 hits, and I try to basically hug him and try to calm him down as he's like moving around, and try to, at least for what that's worth, make him more comfortable.
So he seems to be trying to get away from you and trying to head to the door you guys came in from. And he's, let go, let go, let go. And he's struggling with you. You're going to have to physically restrain him, or he is headed towards the other door.
Yeah, I will physically restrain him. I will try to use
Frankie's
force.
gonna go help if I can offer any kind of chokehold to knock this kid out.
And Frankie, as soon as you get close to him, he says, "Let me go," and he spits into your face.
Can I react?
Yeah.
I still have my gun. I'm gonna hit him with the butt of my gun. I'm done with this kid.
Combat at
Perhaps.
advantage.
Combat
Perhaps Dean should
advantage
wait on the
in
couch.
close quarters. This kid's getting knocked the fuck out.
I hope Arlo has more of these spells. That's gonna hurt in the
Butt of
morning.
your gun against his head, and
Oh, that's super
he's
bad for you.
unconscious in Major's arms.
Oh well, that just happened. Okay. Any ideas? What shall we do with Dean? Obviously, we can't keep bringing him with us.
Frankie has to carry him now.
Yeah,
I had to carry him last time.
If,
Ah,
if
you
you
heard
put me
what
in
Mr.
charge of
Watson
carrying this kid, I get to do what I please.
Do.
Not
You
with
have to
him,
say that.
but where I put him.
Do we? Okay. Do we have any restraints? Do we find any rope or makeshift rope to basically tie
have
him
wires.
up here?
Why?
Yeah, you can find. There's rope.
Is this a good idea?
Yes.
So, what better idea do you have? Like he's basically he causes
Let's-
more problems if
Yes,
he goes
so
with
let's
us.
leave him on the couch. Arlo can write a handwritten note for him saying that we will be back shortly if he wakes up, and then we can continue without him disturbing us.
Have you seen how he behaves? Like he will surely just run to the nearest door, to nearest darkness, and who knows what's
And?
there will kill him. And I'm suspicious that's your intention as well.
So it's not my intention, but I don't have a strong feeling either way.
Major, that's a android talking about emotion. I wouldn't trust it.
Yeah, okay. Let's just tie him up in this research room. I don't know, next to the research station. Where was the terminal? Or
Sure. Yeah, restrain him. That's fine.
Yeah, I would not restrain him like next to this monster here. I don't know anything better what to do. He's
So
more endangering everyone otherwise.
You hog tie him, arms, hands, legs, completely bound. He obviously completely knocked out from the butt of Frankie's gun, and you carry/drag him into the research room, which is where this has all actually happened. So it's still in a separate room. And where are we laying him?
Let's make a pillow fort. Fill the couches. Make like a little corner. He's in his
Do you want to
own
go back to the
safe
lounge
room.
area?
Oh shit, that's in the other room. We shouldn't put him in the soil lab with all the melted skulls.
Just as far away as we can from the soil. I don't know, one corner. Is it
That
in
would
the
be
middle?
the other elevator shaft, which is just in the other room.
No, I mean the same room, but
Okay.
the furthest away from the structure, from the dirt.
So you put him into that back corner. He's got kind of one of the tables. You kind of put blocking him in a little bit as he's there. And
Yes,
again,
he'll be much safer this way.
that metallic
We
adrenaline
are.
taste starts to dissipate as you guys start to calm down.
Okay, so that's one more problem we have, but we need to push on. We need to go further. Let's go to the elevator and let's get closer to the source of the signal. And I will proceed and hopefully lead the group to the elevator door.
And Major, it's just like the door that you met on the ground level, right? So you realize it's not operational. You're able to get your hands in there, pull it open. You realize you're at the top, and it's not an elevator. It's just the shaft, just like before. You can see it go down. It looks to be going down to maybe another 40 feet, another 3 or 4 stories, and it has the same ladders.
So yeah, I will proceed. I will continue the same way before, with one exception. I will stop in front of the door and will check for booby traps.
Okay.
Real quick, while we're in the staging room, where the monster jumped down from the ceiling, did it come from like was it adhered to the ceiling and dropped down, or was there like an attic space or something that we can look?
So you look up, Frankie, and if you're trying to figure out how the hell it was up on the ceiling, you do see piping that it could have held on to while it was up there.
All right. So yeah, I'll follow me.
And the only difference between this elevator shaft and the elevator shaft you came down off of the ground level is it does not have that lighting, right? So it doesn't have that LED yellow emergency lighting. It's complete darkness the whole way down. Major can see with his goggles. Watts can see if he's got his flashlight on.
Watts, you mind holding that flashlight while we go down and investigate?
Would the person in front like to hold the flashlight?
I guess we can share it somehow and proceed in a well-lit shaft, right?
What order are we going in? Who's first? Or
Major first.
Same as last time.
Okay,
Minus
so
Dean.
Major.
Wah, wah.
I don't remember the order. Major, then who?
Frankie, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And then me, and then wait.
Arlo, you're bringing up the rear?
Yeah, I've just been staring at that corpse this whole time.
Yeah, and the one detail again, Arlo, when you look at that, you can tell that the spines that were on its back used to be its rib cage, and like somehow the rib cage just straightened out and just formed these spikes on its back. Did we lose
Nope, I'm here.
Just the vision.
Oh, there you are. You're back. Okay.
Sorry.
So the camera watches as the 4 of you head down. The Major first. We can see the flashlight being shown down as it goes. Very quickly, Major, you realize that at the bottom of this is the top of the elevator.
So I guess there are no doors because presumably there's the elevator cabin there, right? Is there a top hatch that we could try to pry open?
Yep, there's a maintenance hatch at the very top.
Let's do that. Once everybody is on top of the cabin.
So all 4 of you are now standing on top of the elevator, on the roof of this elevator. The Major slowly opens it, and you see the interior of an elevator. Complete darkness. And the door is closed.
Yeah, can we get some light in here? And like, is there a darkness even if we are pointing the flashlight there, or
No,
just
no? If you and light, yeah, the flashlight works like flashlights work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So let's go ahead and shed some light into the cabin.
So looking in the elevator, flashlight going around, totally empty.
I don't want to do this. If I lean in and check the elevator ceiling with the flashlight.
So I'm imagining the camera then cuts to inside the elevator, and we slowly see the Major's head come through the maintenance and look around. And even though everybody who's watching knows that the elevator is empty, we see a visible facial relief as the Major realizes the elevator is also empty.
You're killing me. Okay. And Major, me as a player dying inside, but the Major will, room is clear, let's go ahead, jump in like a pro.
The Major drops down into the elevator door is closed. Frankie, you jumping down?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any hesitation from Watts and Arlo?
Not once they go down.
Yeah, every opportunity to hesitate, Arlo takes it. I miss outer space, and then I dropped out.
So the shadows and everything from this flashlight are just is almost disorienting, but it is still darkness. It's yeah, this probably holds 8 people, but it feels really tight. And whether it's just because of the moving of the flashlight or whatever, and we see the major go to the door, and the major starts to peel the door open.
Maybe everyone up against the sides of the elevator.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
While Major's doing that, I'll have the flashlight kind of peeking a little bit through with my gun with one hand on my gun, just in case.
And it's SMG. You can do it. It's one-handed. So yep. And major, as you open it, you get to the secondary door, which is the door to the elevator shaft. Same thing. You pull it open. You immediately can tell it's darkness. No emergency lighting. But the light from Frankie's flashlight shines past you. And as that opens, Frankie's doing what he can to kind of get the flashlight at the best angle to give you the best view in. And you see a similar but much larger landing area where you catch the elevator, right? Across from you, you see a single door. And on the door, even though it's faded, even though it's chipped away, you can see it says Archive. And then there's a long hallway you can't see the end of to your left, and a long hallway angled off to the right. So imagine yourself at a V, right? So you're at the bottom of the V, the hallway goes off to the left and to the right, and then right across from you is this door marked Archive.
Anything on the ceiling?
Nothing on the ceiling. Lionel Richie.
No turrets, so
Okay, so let's calmly go into this area in front of the elevator, and let's check the signal. Are we getting closer? I think it was getting stronger with each floor we were descending.
Yeah, as you pull it out, it's definitely getting stronger.
Okay, so it seems that we have 50-50 chance to see which direction we should go. So, any hints? I'm just the guy who handles the security over here, but the directions or putting the clues together, that's beyond my capacity today.
Let's shine the light down both hallways and see if they look different. Or
So you shine the light down both hallways, and both hallways are easily 40 feet long. And they're somewhat narrow compared to some of the hallways that you saw on the first ground level. Both of them end at doors. So we've got hallway to the left, ending in a door about 40 feet down. Hallway to the right, about 40 feet down, ending in a door. And then the Archive door across from where you're standing. Now, the one thing I need to understand is I can't have the flashlight and the goggles at the same time.
Yeah, I don't have the goggles when
Okay.
we're using the flashlight. Yeah, put them away.
I'm curious about the Archive.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we should clear Archive. It's here right in front of us.
Yeah, let's do Archive then. Okay, Mr. Bilfoyle, you know the drill. Let's check the ceiling this time, and we go to the Archive door and try to get in.
It's unlocked.
Let's proceed.
The major first with Frankie covering him.
Yep. And the light's going up to the ceiling first and then sweeping down.
So the door slowly opens. The major's ready. Frankie's ready. Flashlight shines in. And it's a room with just shelving. Rows and rows of shelves with plastic boxes on each of the shelves. On the ground, you can see some of these boxes are broken open, and you can see papers strewn all over the floor.
Well, it's Archive, all right.
Why is everything analog in this facility?
It's most strange. So we go in and start, let's do a standard sweep. We each go to the side and check in between the shelves. Is there anything hiding on the ground, again, on the ceiling? Continuing the sweep in this way.
So unlike the barracks, And unlike the research room, this is about a third of the size. It's not nearly as large, and it doesn't take nearly as long for you to kind of sweep through it. As best as you can tell, looking on the ceilings, looking down each of the aisles of each of these things, it appears to be you're the only ones in the room outside of the skeletal remains on the far back corner of somebody in a Archon security uniform.
And besides the flashlight, pitch black still.
Correct.
Oh, that's a rough one. Do we have more flashlights? Or just this one?
It's got to be standard in military equipment.
Well, I have the goggles, so maybe that's why I don't have the flashlight.
No, I can have each of you have a flashlight. I don't care.
Okay.
Give me mine back.
Use your own damn flashlight.
Mine's that
Where are
shitty
the-
one that's on the keychain that like clicks forward.
You're gonna wear out the battery on this thing.
It's a laser pointer on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay,
Great mothership.
Mr. Waits, Mr. Watts, I think this is for you to investigate if we can get any more clues over here. With Mr. Belfoy, we will keep you covered.
I'm gonna go search the Archon guy. See if there's
I'm
any.
still reading elevated pulse levels from all of you. Would you like to take a 5-minute rest in this location to wear off the adrenaline from the previous conflict?
Making sense.
I don't
We are
think we
secure.
have.
There's only one door, right?
Yep.
In this room.
Well, we're in the middle of enemy territory. I don't think it's safe to, first of all, lose our sharpness from the adrenaline. It's still worth it. Helps us in the situation. And any minute more we spend here that we don't need to is any minute that we're getting closer to injury, let's say.
So as the door to this archive closes, and Watts makes the suggestions that everybody needs to take a breather, except for him. Maybe the first time that all of you, except for Watts, realize not only have you been up for about 12, 13 hours at this point, but you have fought 2 beasts of some sort and have found duplicate pictures of wallets. You found Arlo's handwriting in a notebook that he's never seen before. And you're exhausted. So my only question, and this will ultimately be for all 4 of you, because Watch, you're running low as well. Is anybody want to fight this or give into it? So individually, starting with you, Frankie.
Give in.
Okay.
He wants to rest.
Arlo?
Arlo's terrified of sleeping right now.
Okay.
So
Arlo's
going
gonna
to
fight it?
resist. Yeah.
Major?
Fight it for sure.
Watts?
You don't have to sleep to take a rest. You can just do some yoga or read out of your journal or something to recover from the stress of the last 14 hours.
I bet you
But
have
I-
Yoga
I-
for Dummies book as well.
But if we continue to delve into this facility and have more encounters like this, I am going to run out of power if I don't stop to recharge. And if that happens in the middle of a conflict, that's not going to be very good for anyone.
And Nick, the player, does not want the third death on Mothership and Third Floor Wars. So
Okay. So couple things. One, Watts, I've totally come up with an idea here, which is if you shut down partially, quote unquote, sleep, the biological parts of you are able to generate enough energy to recharge you. So that is now canon. All right. So Watts is going to rest. Frankie is going to rest. I need body saves from the Major and from Arlo.
Well, I
This-
mean, I wanted to have this like be a group decision. If they don't want to rest, or if the group decides not to rest, then I'm not going to.
Okay. So, so here's what I'm figuring out is whether if you give in, there's no save and you're going to rest. If you're not going to give in, you got a body save, and if you fail, you're going to rest. If you pass, you're going to gain exhausted as a condition.
Frankie, so Frankie, you look exhausted. So I understood that you would prefer that we take a breather, we take a rest, and stay here for a while instead of just pushing through this mess and get out of here as soon as possible. Is that so?
That's correct, Major. The adrenaline's wearing off, and I imagine my 10-minute mark is gone because I was well into it when Major had it. But yeah, with my level of stress and what I've seen and what we've encountered, Frankie's he's security, not military, so he could use a rest.
Okay. So I guess as part of security, you didn't undergo the 30-hour training as the standard bag that every guy should go through. Huh?
That's my work week, 30 hours.
In a row.
I was on a 310.
I was on a 310. Yeah, it was long. Oh my god.
Okay, Mr. Waits, what about you? You seem tired, but also ready to go.
Yeah, Arlo doesn't really respond. He kind of just gives in. His back is against the door, and he just slides down, sighing.
Well, there's our barricade.
Right. And he starts eventually opening up and looking at that journal again.
Okay, I guess that's settled then. So let's do a makeshift barricade. Like the doors are opening and closing to the sides, right? So it's not like we can prop something against them. It would be nonsense.
Oh, you totally can. You totally can because they swing. They swing on hinges.
Okay,
yeah. So if you want to pull, you can pull one of these shelves. You can clear a couple of the boxes, these plastic boxes, off the shelf and put the shelf up against that door. No question.
Yeah. So we at least if something gets in, we have enough time to react or something.
Yeah, either it would be stopped by this shelf because it's a heavy shelf. It takes you and Frankie to move it, or it's going to make a shit ton of noise as it tries to break through.
Yeah, let's do that
and eat your face.
But I'm sure us moving a giant shelf won't make any noise at all. We'll be fine.
All right,
I wouldn't worry about us making a noise. It's
Let's get the mechanics over with, and this is going to be a comfort save, which is a new mechanic in the first edition. I'm going to set the mechanic save at 25. Not super comfortable for several reasons. One, it's not a bed, it's not a hotel, and it's a pretty effed up situation. So what you're going to want to do is roll a D100, and if you roll below the 25, you can restore 1d10 stress. Otherwise, your stress stays the same.
Was there any effect regarding discomfort we had, or maybe it was some injury? I don't remember.
I have the nightmares, so I'm on negatives to comfort saves.
Ah, okay. It was.
How do I do disadvantage? Do I just roll it twice?
I think if yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I guess that would add it up.
Yeah.
Oh, it did it already.
Nice.
So close.
Oh, so close. So no restoration of things. So I'm going to put you guys at about 4 or 5 hours, and it's going to be a mixture of things. It's going to be a mixture of some of you actually falling asleep. It's going to be a mixture of some of you sitting, maybe going through some of these papers, through these archive boxes, but it's truly going to be, downtime, right?
Everyone drink water.
Everybody hydrate. A few things for those of you that go through the papers.
Yeah.
Here's some of the things that you can glean. A lot of it doesn't mean anything to you other than this is some sort of research facility. You do find insignias for the modern order. So as best as the 4 of you can tell, this was built by them. Built by them looks like to be maybe about 150 years ago, roughly. You do find some materials that reveal talk of these creatures. And you're able to discover a few things. You see a thing about research, kind of like a research study, Arlo, of a autopsy. And it did an autopsy on one of these things, and they found egg sacs inside the body. And at the very bottom of the sheet of paper, it says, "Do they want to lay the eggs in us?" ? You see a reference on another paper that says, it appears that the screamers only move in the darkness. There's another thing that talks about on the planet. You can't tell, but it seems to be miles away from here, that there's a beach. And talk of these ginormous skeletons. And whoever wrote this down seems to theorize that these were long dead, large sea creatures, maybe when there was water on the planet. Probably the most useful thing that you find is a paper talking about the impact of fire. And it talks about how flammable these things are. And it just says at the bottom, we have to fight them with fire. Arlo, being probably the most voracious reader of the four of you, finds a box that feels empty. And as he pulls it off the shelf, he reaches in and he sees one sheet of paper. And on there it says, "They are not us." And violently, to the point that the paper is torn, the "not" part is scratched away. So let's put us at 4 hours later. If there's anything you want to do over those 4 hours that I have not covered, let me know.
I'm looking for a couple specific things in this documentation. One is any mention of the communications equipment or station that would be required to send that message. And two is any coordinates or indication of where in the universe this planet is.
No.
Some archive then.
Who wrote this damn module?
Any journal of grudges in any of the...
No journal of grudges. Nothing in Arlo's handwriting.
Okay.
No pictures of Frankie.
Can I leave pictures of Frankie?
For the next Frankie that comes along.
So what do we have that can make fire?
I have a flare gun.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ooh, nice.
Craig,
That was
so I
easy.
thought, Frankie has explosives as a skill. Is there a way I can modify the grenades, the frag grenades, to some sort of incendiary with mixing up the flares?
Yeah, let's tinker with grenades in this enclosed room.
I'll go do it next to Dean. No worries.
I mean, I think you know enough that you could probably, empty the grenade, assuming that you could successfully disarm it, which you've never done before. So maybe put together some sort of bomb or something, potentially.
Would that require a roll?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a roll
Not
you'd want to
interested.
pass.
Not interested. We're good.
Okay.
Do we have
Anything,
hairspray
I thought about it.
and lighter or something?
anything else we want to chase down while we're in this archive? Again, instead of saying in this box you found that, in this box I gave you guys all the headlines, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Major would just check up on his equipment, but he would not be searching for anything specific. He
Perhaps
leaves
the
it
flare
to the
gun would be.
exit.
Perhaps the flare gun would be better in the hands of one of the Marines.
That makes sense. Yeah.
You should be able to transfer it yourself. You should be able to open up your character sheet and then
Oh, sure.
someone else's character sheet, and you should be able to just drag it from one character sheet to the other. Yell at me if you can't.
Who wants?
Yeah, Major wants.
Major.
Major, yeah. Craig, the treatment of my condition, the nightmares, it looks like there's 3 boxes here. How do I treat myself, or do I just get penalized for 3 times?
Or leave.
Shore leave?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Let me Google the
Cannot.
nearest bunny ranch.
I cannot transfer.
You cannot. Okay, so hold on 1 second. I'll take care of it. All right, so it is going from...
Watts to Major.
All right, so let's open up Watts. That's not what I meant to do. And let's open up the Major. Oh, why do I keep trying to do that? There's the major. I go to weapons, flare gun. Major, you now have a flare gun. And Watts, I'm getting rid of yours. All right, we are done. So at some point, all of you sleep. And Frankie's not the only one that dreams. But let's cover Frankie's first. So you doze off, Frankie. And your eyes open. And you know this isn't real. But that doesn't change how it feels. Because you're trapped inside of a glass cylinder chamber. And it's first person. You're looking through your own eyes. You see your hands pressing up against the glass. It's hard to see. This glass distorts the outside. You can see your hands are dry. So dry that you see it like dusting off, the skin coming off, like as you're pressing up against it. And as you're looking through the glass, you see people in lab coats. There's got to be at least 15 of them surrounding you, all with clipboards. And the whole dream is you watching yourself dry away as a husk, as they all are just taking notes and nodding. Who wants who's next between the three humans?
Yeah, let's do Major.
All right. So Major, might be right before you read the thing about the beach. And you find yourself on a beach. And you know for no reason other than you just know that it's here. And it's tied to what you just read. And there's water. And it's kind of a greenish, bluish water ocean out in front of you. The sand is kind of this reddish clay. And it's warm. You can feel the sun on your skin until you can't. And you look up and see something is blocking the sun, like a cloud or something has come up front is the first thought you have. Until you realize that it's something in the sky. And it's huge. It's got to be 300 yards long. And it turns down and you see the mouth open when you wake up. And that leaves Arlo.
Who sleeps just fine.
Arlo, unlike Frankie and the Major, who knew immediately that they were dreaming, right? Knew exactly what was happening, though it was very vivid and they're going to wake up with these memories. At first, you're not sure you're asleep. But you know you're out of place. Because this is probably the fanciest party you have ever seen. As you're standing there and looking around, everybody's in black tie. All the women have this gorgeous jewelry on. There are people with white faceless masks passing around hors d'oeuvres and drinks. And one of them walks up to you with a champagne flute that's got bubbly liquid in it. Sir, let me help you. And you see the hand come towards you. And you kind of follow it as it goes to your collar. And you realize that there are these centipedes all over your chest and collar. And he's just, here, let me help you. And he kind of sweeps them off. And as that happens, everybody at the party turns to you and just starts laughing when you wake up. All right, 4 hours later.
At least you had your pants on.
Yeah. I mean, we've all had that one.
So when Frankie awakes, in a very similar fashion to when we were back in the dormitory, where the other place was on the other moon, he jolts awake, kind of yelps like a feral dog or something. Kind of wakes up like sweating. And is everybody awake at this point? I imagine everybody's slowly.
Yeah. People, like I said,
Yeah.
you guys have been coming in and out right as you're resting. Nobody is like, because of the comfort saves, nobody's getting like a nice sound sleep.
Yeah. During this downtime, I take a moment to, because I didn't share my first dream back on the moon. But now Frankie realizing that there's more than meets the eye. There's something else potentially going on with finding these replica or duplicate items or things that are from another time or whatever. He shares about his first dream, about being in this world with having tentacles and seeing others vigorously building structures and hearing gotta finish before we die, and then mentions, sorry, I'm going through notes, what he just saw now, not knowing if there's any correlation, but putting everybody in the know of what's really going on about being trapped in a glass cylinder, kind of withering away, drying out, while 15 people in lab coats are watching and taking notes as I die.
And the one differentiator I'm going to put in there, Frankie, because you're making a good connection, but the one differentiator is on your first dream. If you remember when you looked at yourself, it was alien, right? It was this tentacled arms and fingers, whereas before these were your human hands that you felt pressing up against the window. So that's the one differentiator I want to make clear, but the connections you're making are connections.
So I start asking everybody else questions. Is anybody else having weird dreams? Is this happening to anybody else?
Yeah, sure. I had
No.
a dream. I had a dream about the beach we read about, and about this thing in the sky. And I described basically how you described the dream, ending with the big mouth in the sky. I unfortunately don't have any fancy connections to my previous dream, but I just describe it and say, yeah, it's probably related just to the stress and to what we read over here. Maybe there's something to that beach, but currently there is no way for us to do anything about it. We need to focus on our task at hand.
They're just dreams, right? And I'm scratching at my collar, like, really uncomfortable. They're, everyone dreams, guys. We all have nightmares. This is, I'm sure. Ugh, no, it's fine. We should just get out of here.
Yeah, I hope they are dreams. Just too much in our hands now. So let's get out. Is everybody ready to continue our investigation in this facility?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you guys have no trouble moving the shelving away. You open up the door, it's just as you left it. There's the empty elevator across the way where you pried the doors open, and the darkened room that are lit by flashlights. There's hallways to your left and to your right.
We don't have any differentiator between those two hallways, right? So
Did the doors at the ends of them have plaques?
I think it's too far, right?
Are we headed down a hallway? Because you can't see any from here. They're a good 40 feet down.
All right.
I suggest we pick one and just go ahead and investigate. Let's go, I don't know, to the left one.
Or we could split up.
Cover more ground that way.
That's true. So it's me and Mr. Belfoy and
Yeah, we all have flashlights now.
W&W will go to the other.
The three of us will go left and Arlo goes right.
All right, we need to have somebody solo. Okay. Yeah, let's go to the left one.
Okay, you guys head down the left hallway. Silence, darkness, except for the flashlights. At the end of the door, or the end of the hallway is a door, unmarked. It's another hinged door.
Unmarked. Okay, Mr. Belfoy, you know the drill. We
Yes,
proceed
sir,
as
let's do it.
usual.
This one's locked.
So, locked in what way? So if it's a hinge door, it's like standard lock, bolt.
Must be mechanical because the console on the second level said that all the locks have been deactivated.
Okay, if I try to push it, not like run into it with my shoulder, but just push it a bit heavily, just maybe kick it a little bit to see if it gives.
So you don't make a whole lot of noise at first, but I think the kicking does make some noise.
Mm.
Well, if he's
Go ahead.
kicking it, then I'm. There's not like a lock picking skill, but I'm like looking at them as jury rigging. Could I try to lock?
You could, but the kicking's not going to open the door. So he just
Okay.
kind of kicks at it. a
Yeah,
little
just
bit to
before he
test
like
it.
starts making a bunch of noise.
He makes a little noise, right? Just kind of a
Okay.
test the waters type kick. I'm not having him
Okay.
like actually full on.
Okay. Gotcha.
Not going
Sylvester
full ham on
Stallone.
the door.
Yeah. But that noise creates another noise. And you hear a voice behind the door. Who the fuck are you?
Oh, we thought this is full of these stupid creatures. We are.
Who the fuck are you?
We just went here. We are following the distress signal, and we are trying to figure out what's happening here. We are
We're
friendly.
the crew of the NS Providence security team.
So nobody needs to make a speed check, but it's because it's a wild shot. You see the bullet come way up above your head, above the door. So either whoever was shooting this was not intentionally trying to shoot you, or is just a bad shot and shot ahead of you. But all of you just do this as the gunfire shot.
Yeah, we hug the sides of the doors, I guess, or I do at least.
Stay the fuck away!
We came here for an information. We just need to talk. We just need to know what's happening here.
We are not a threat.
You're from the Providence?
Yes.
Question mark?
Open it
interesting.
slowly!
Okay, Major goes there and slowly opens it, no guns in hand,
Is it unlocked now?
on the
It
sling.
is.
Out of all the things, the most terrifying thing is that they know the name of the ship.
Yeah, I don't like that one bit, but we'll see.
So,
So the
Major,
Major
you put your
so-
hand up. You put it on.
And I will announce myself. I'm going. I'm unarmed. I'm opening the doors, and I'm slowly pushing it in, I guess.
Are you unarmed?
Yes, I have it just on my sling, the submachine gun on my sling and on my back.
So you turn the doorknob. And you open the door. And you can immediately tell that this is a very small, maybe utility closet. It's hard to tell, right? As you open the door, huddled into the corner, you see a man. And he's got a gun pointed at you. He's shaking. He's got a beard, speckled gray beard, goes down to about the top of his chest, and it's kind of wild. You see his hair is just what hasn't fallen out as he's lost some of his hair is just wild, almost long, and it looks like maybe he has some of it back in a ponytail. And he's shaking, and he's a pretty big guy. Your guess is maybe late 50s, early 60s. Who are you?
We landed on this planet. We were following a distress signal that led us to this swamp and to this facility. We went through some monsters on the upper floors, and we are exploring this floor. We were able to reach these closed doors. I must
Holy
say, I'm
shit.
Quiet. Holy shit, what?
Major Farrell? And as he
How-
says that, you look at him, and it's Brett.
Yes, I knew it.
See on
I
the
pulled
other
up
side
his
of the
sheet.
credits.
No.
right. So first off, we got to talk about Coda. Coda puts in the chat DZ's look when he figured it out. So let's start with you, DZ. Walk me through the process as I was describing things.
I don't know.
I want to know how DZ's mind. I want to be in there, not for long, but just for a little minute.
It was. I mean, so it's been leading up to questioning of whether there's tomfoolery going on here, but I don't know. I was like, I don't want to interrupt and like ruin the moment because that's what I do when I'm watching TV and I figure something out before like my wife does, and I'm like, I can't just jump in, but I want. So I'm like, I'm busy like pulling up his sheet. I don't know. It was something about him. It was when you started describing the beard, I think, because I knew that Brett did have a graying beard, but that it had grown out and his hair was all like long and matted. I don't know why I thought it was Brett specifically. I think Nick, you said that you thought it might have been an old Dean. Was that you, Nick?
I
No,
said it.
that was.
Oh, that was Vaslav.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's really good too. I would have enjoyed that, but yeah, I don't know what exactly it was. It was something about the description. It was maybe it's that like the face hiding behind facial hair, doing that thing where you don't recognize somebody at first.
So Coda says he thought it was Dean as well. So Major, you knew, or Vaslav. I got to read the
It's
top.
also,
I got to read the name at the top, not the bottom now.
Knowing the name of the Providence too.
Yeah. So Vaslav, walk me through your did you know when I said Brett, was that like, oh shit, or did you know before that it was Brett?
My mind was going in the direction of Dean. Like
Uh-huh.
when you said like he stands there shaking, I would expect like somebody more skilled as Brett to maybe be more, but have more better posture or anything. But who knows after all this time? But we all know. I think now it's confirmed there are some time shenanigans going on here. So that's why I was thinking in the direction of Dean and that he unleashes, I don't know, slug into my belly.
And I assume that everybody watching has watched the first 7 episodes, but who knows when you did. Just as a quick reminder, Brett was Nick's first character. And the reason that Nick is playing Frankie is because Brett's dead. So if there's time shenanigans going on, it's not just time.
Right. Yeah. I had the same thought. Like, is it time?
So
yeah.
So Kyle, what is you as a player know now that you didn't before? Do you have more questions, or are things starting to solidify? Where are you?
I think with the combination of Brett, I think that note just became a lot more important. That lonely note in that plastic box. They are not us.
Oh, yeah.
To me, that is kind of the highlight piece of evidence that we've got.
Right.
But you remember the knot was crossed out though.
Sure.
Like violently.
Yeah. So I am not convinced that this is Brett at all.
Right. We got a pod people influence here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should check for any eggs later.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna med scan the guy when we get back next session.
I'm not checking Brett for anything like that. No, you guys dig for your own eggs.
So we ended session 7 with Frankie looking at the picture, right? And we start session 8 with Frankie realizing it's a duplicate picture. And then Nick, we find Arlo's handwriting in a notebook, and now we find Brett. So where's Nick the player?
Oh, I'm mind screwed up right now. I don't know. I thought you were describing Arlo, like Kyle. I thought you were describing Kyle with the beard. I was like, yeah, it is a beautiful beard. Like, I was like, it's his character in this world again, and totally left field, and being Brett. But as a player, I'm conflicted because I have so many questions to ask Brett because I didn't get to play him out. But as the guy, as Frankie, he doesn't know anything about Brett. He's just some random stranger that could turn into a face monster. So I'm excited. I think this is a good stopping point because it lets me process how these characters would do things, as opposed to me just going off the rails, just asking a bunch of stupid stuff that Frankie wouldn't ask, right? And so yeah, it's gonna take some time to process for sure.
We just got raided, which I hate I hate to tell you, we're doing kind of a recap, but just to for those of you that have not watched it, this is we're just finishing up we just finishing up episode 8. You can watch this episode, the full episode, as well as the 7 before it up on the Third Floor Wars YouTube. But just to give you an idea of what just happened, is they are on this planet where they're stranded. They've been going through this facility, and they go into a room. They find a man in his late 50s, early 60s, and we closed the session by them realizing that this is an older version of a character that died in session 2.
Yeah, it was quick.
And this is all layered and coupled with all kinds of other crazy stuff that's been happening. All right, so DZ, you are analytical as hell. You figure out the shows before the shows end. I want to know where you think things are and where they're headed.
I'm happy that we got a big answer, not like full answer, but a big clue to something in this episode that like I've been waiting for a big reveal, and I did not see this one coming at all, actually, that the Moopers are behind this, and that this facility was run by the sect that we were originally transporting. That's a big flag for me, and I'm really curious to see the rest of that. But it calls into question like what we were originally doing, particularly because we did not make it to where we were supposed to be. We came out of hyperspace early.
Or maybe we
So,
did.
Maybe
yeah,
we
exactly.
had
Like
fun,
we
yeah.
did not do what we didn't go where we were told that we were going, which means that all of this may have been intentional. And I wonder how that tracks with like all the other ships that are floating around this planet, where they also brought here intentionally, like by the occupants, as opposed to being like drawn here by something, which is what I've assumed has been happening. So that's a much simpler answer that I'm surprised didn't occur to any of us, as far as I know, that like we that it was just the people on board the ships bringing them here. So that's like the biggest thing that sticks out to me.
So other things that are hanging out there, we still have the Defiance, right? So we still have seen newer bodies and uniforms for this Defiance, which also ties to the woman's message that Dean played for you when you guys were still on the moon. We did not encounter anything related to the Defiance while we were here, but that's still kind of hanging out there. I'm trying to think if there's other things kind of hanging out there that anybody can think of, or have we pretty much covered it?
I think there is this thing about the first message we found in the room with the dirt that was describing, first of all, the message for Mordecai, the leader of this how we call them,
Moop.
And we found him sent tribute. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, who is him and what is tribute? Like just people to die, or is it some artifact? Or
Well, presumably him is they believe they've found their god.
Mm.
I mean, I don't know what else that would be based on what we know. I guess
Yeah.
we could find out, but that was just, I assumed that from the start. But tribute, I assume, is sending the ships and people to this place to be turned into those things.
yeah, I have that connection as well.
We still have the hair to figure out. That's really important.
Critical.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Why nothing grows here still? I mean, as far as
Yeah.
like a character objective, Arlo's certainly interested in that.
Yeah.
Probably
and-
ultimately not. Maybe it's not significant to everything. Maybe it's super significant. Either way, Arlo needs to know.
As a player, I think there might be connection to Nick's dream, like things being dry and not growing. It sounded like the opposite. That sounds.
There's some kind of anaerobic
Yeah.
aura or something. Also curious, we didn't finish uncovering that boulder that they brought in, but I'm positive that would have had some kind of symbol or something on it, because it can't just be a random rock that they decided to fuse their foreheads to. But
Well, they build it around whatever, right? Whenever we found these structures,
well, they just piled dirt on top of it.
Well, sometimes it's dirt, sometimes it's bones, sometimes it's
Yeah, in this
welded
case,
metal.
They said it was the part that we had uncovered. Craig said it was a natural boulder, which is odd to me that the boulder would be in the shape of the thing.
Well, to be clear, the boulder was not in the shape of this thing.
Okay, so it was just
Dirt was
built up
shaped around it into the shape of this thing.
Before the people were fused to it.
Correct.
Okay, so possible that it's just a frame that they built the symbol on top of. Okay.
All right, guys. So real quick, got a couple things coming up here on the 10th, which is this coming Thursday. We continue with our Forbidden Lands games. Extremely popular stream right now. Mothership and Forbidden Lands are the two most popular streams on the channel. Check it out. We're having a ton of fun with that. Much like this one, we left that one in quite a position that it's going to be must-see TV. On the 13th, which is a week from today, we have me playing, not running, Call of Cthulhu, where we have my good friend Brian is going to be running that. Really good stuff. Don't miss that. In fact, that's Old Slow Tiger in the chat there, and who's a player in the Forbidden Lands, but will be running the Call of Cthulhu. And then on the 20th, which is 2 weeks from today, you're not going to want to miss it. Episode 9. What do we call it? Reunion?
Shore leave.
All right.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you coming by. The raids were great. So those of you that stuck around for the raids, you came in at a kind of a weird time. I appreciate you sticking around and watching with us and hitting the chat. I saw the gift subs, which I love. I saw all the chatter going in there. Coda, it's great seeing you. We saw a lot of first timers, so welcome to that. And like I said, if you want to catch up, just go to the Third Floor Wars YouTube and start with episode 1. Guys, it's always good playing with you.
Thank you.
A lot of fun.
See ya.
All right.
Cheers.
Later, y'all.
Take care, everybody.